capabilities perspective. And importantly, as Aurora was saying in her seminar a month or so ago, whenever that was, you've got to bring in some stuff, it seems, that's much more explicitly about social justice, more political economy in a sense in there to balance the capabilities. But capabilities looks like it might be an area that opens up certain possibilities. I think it starts us to think about what is it that's important, not just narrow economics and narrow employability. Who has a voice in this? Now, most of the research by being economic or psychological has come with a view of what counts and then come down to the learners and tested the learners in the sense against what the official view of what it is that matters. The capabilities approach comes much more from the bottom up and says, what do people imagine are the things that are important to them? So I think this is an area that's potentially quite important, but it's really early days in thinking about it in vocational. And it has this problem that capabilities, for me, has been a bit too nice and liberal and hasn't really got into the dirty end of kind of what work means. But I'd be very happy to explore that in the questions. Now, the second approach around well-being that's out there, which doesn't particularly attract me, but is quite powerful at the moment, is coming largely from the OECD. And it's much so if capabilities end of it is saying, ask people what they value, have a social dialogue to determine what they value, the OECD approach is much more positivistic. It's saying, what are the things that matter? Okay, we can measure these things, and we know that GMP is too narrow a definition of what matters, but let's put something in about mental health. Let's put something in about longevity of life. And so, one big centre at University of London, the Centre for Wider Benefits of Learning, has been doing this work. Look at all the benefits that education and training bring. They reduce smoking levels, they increase democracy, they reduce stress, they reduce mental health, it does all these things. And so this research is about kind of operationalising all the things that vocational education training might do, and then of course going in and seeing what evidence can you find. So work in Australia, an apprenticeship brings these mental health benefits. That's not the kind of work that particularly is interesting to me, but clearly it's very powerful for policymakers. Look, you can have these things. So the OECD have brought out an index